Hi, I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am super excited about this recipe. I am bringing you guys a creamy tortellini soup recipe. It's the perfect recipe for cold weather. You guys are gonna love this one so much. Check it out. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm so excited to share this recipe with you, and this week I just got an immersion blender, a new one, so I had to have a recipe to use it. Be sure to subscribe, you guys, so we can keep cooking together, and let's get started on our soup. Okay, so we're gonna start by cutting this onion up. I started it already, but my knife was really dull, so I just sharpened it up. I know, like Gordon Ramsay says, this is actually like, I used to cut my onions a little bit different, and this is how he says to cut them. I know I'm definitely like not as good with knife skills as he is, but it is really a good tip. He always says like to sharpen your knives every time you cook, which would be so awesome if I actually did that, but sometimes I just get busy and I don't do it. But watch how simple this is. It's like already done for you whenever you get done. And we're putting our stuff through the immersion blender, so I'm not too worried about it being, you know, too big. I am gonna like dice it up. And this is definitely gonna be more than I need, but a lot of times I just like cut up onions like this and stick it in a Tupperware, and then when I need it for the next recipe, or you know, if we make tacos or burgers or anything like that, it's like already ready in the fridge. It's so easy. It's a Friday right now, so a lot of times in the weekend I'll just come up with like random recipes and cook throughout the weekend to feed everybody. Even like omelets in the morning. You guys, it's just so nice to have chopped up onions. I don't want to cry all the time, so it's way easier to just get it over with. All right, so now we're gonna do our pepper. Peppers are pretty easy to slice up. And for those of you that are like beginner cooks, I always have a little bowl like this out. It just saves like so much time, and it kind of just keeps all your mess organized. I love doing that. And what I'll do is like periodically when it starts getting full, I'll just dump it out in the trash, and then it's fresh and I can throw more trash in it. Easy peasy. I think sometimes cooking is like, people just, they overcomplicate it. Like it doesn't need to be all difficult. It really can just be super simple. And cooking soups like this is a really great way to start to learn how to cook. I know that that's one of the first things that I really started cooking, and I've gotten really good at them. Soups are one of the things that I really don't ever need a recipe for, because I've made almost like every soup. So I kind of just, a lot of it starts with the same ingredients, and I just go through and, you know, just think about what would taste good in it. It's funny, like with tortellini, like for some reason, so I'm pretty sure that I grew up on like eating just pasta as a kid. I hardly ate any meat. My dad's a vegetarian, and my mom doesn't eat a lot of meat either, but for some reason, like tortellini is like that one go-to thing for me. I love tortellini more than any other pasta. It is my favorite. All right, so these look good. Okay, so I've got my Dutch oven on a little under medium heat. I know it looks dirty. I promise it's not. It's just stained. I know I'm going to start getting comments about how dirty my Dutch oven is, but I just cook in it so much that it just looks like this. So I'm sorry. We'll have to deal with it for now. It's my favorite pot, and I'm going to use it. So I'm putting about a tablespoon of olive oil in here. And that is exactly what we are looking for. All right, so we're gonna toss this in the oil, and we're just gonna let our veggies soften. And I'm gonna go ahead and add that salt. We're gonna let this go for a few minutes. We really want these to cook down pretty good and get nice and soft because they're going to go in the immersion blender and we want them to just blend up really nicely. Okay, so this is getting really nice and softened. We are gonna add in our seasoning. I've got thyme, oregano, and dried basil, and I also have some black pepper in there. Stir that up. We are also going in with our half teaspoon of garlic, or a clove of minced garlic, it's fine too. A little extra isn't gonna hurt you. Add in our chicken stock, our crushed tomatoes, and our tomato sauce. We are also adding in a tablespoon of tomato paste. Now I'm going to cover this and let it come to a boil, and then I'm going to reduce the heat to low, and I'm going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Okay, so as I've got that going, I'm going to let it cook for about 15 minutes or so. I'm filling up an extra pot for my pasta. So you can definitely cook the tortellini in the soup. The problem is it has a tendency, after it gets cooked to that al dente that we want it to, it has a tendency to kind of blow up in the soup. And I just don't like when that happens. So a lot of times I will cook my pasta on the side, and then when I'm serving it, I'll add it to the soup. It just like creates that perfect texture then when you're eating it, and I just don't want that to get lost. So that's why I'm doing this. So I'm gonna stick this on, and then as far as the tortellini goes, it cooks really fast. So only 4 minutes. So I'm gonna get this going, and then you can kind of just sit it on the side. That way you can focus on your soup, and your tortellini's already done. So when the soup gets ready to be done, you just have to throw it in. It's so easy. This is one of the easiest soups. Okay, so I always add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt to my pasta water. Just seems to help it not stick so much. And then I've got a 20-ounce package of 5 cheese tortellini. I'm just using about half of it. And we're gonna let this cook for about 4 minutes. Okay, so our tortellini is al dente. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off and stick it in the strainer. This is a good way to get a facial when you're a mom. All right. So we've got our tortellini. I'm just gonna leave it in the strainer for now. Our soup's gonna be ready pretty soon, so we're gonna leave it in here, and then we can just add it to our soup. It's gonna stay nice and warm. Okay, so as you guys can see, my soup is still really hot. I'm actually gonna just turn it off for a minute because I wanna let it cool down a tiny bit before I hit it with the immersion blender. I'm not trying to get splashed with scalding hot soup. So just really, you guys start off really slow, just be careful. It does kind of splash, so make sure you have the whole thing submerged in underneath the liquid. See the thickness we're getting already from this? Okay, so now that I have it blended to just the consistency I want, I'm gonna add a tiny bit more salt and pepper. And my bay leaf is going back in. And I'm gonna add in our cream. This is just heavy whipping cream, or heavy cream. Now just wait, guys. Wait till you see me stir this up, how good it's gonna look. It's like, reminds me of like tomato cream sauce, like for pasta. This is gonna be so yummy. I can't wait to get the tortellini in here and the Parmesan cheese. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I just want this to kind of get all nice and blended. So I'm gonna turn my heat back on to low. I'm gonna cover this, and I'm just gonna check it every couple minutes to make sure that it's not getting too thick. If it does get too thick on you guys, just add a tiny bit of chicken stock. It'll fix it really fast. Okay, so get my heat back on here, and I'm gonna cover it back up. Our soup is all finished. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna serve it. I'm just gonna serve it into a bowl, add my tortellini, and then add my Parmesan cheese or my Parmesan crisp, whatever I wanna use. So let's do that. So I'm just adding about 6 tortellini into my soup. I'm gonna top with some Parmesan cheese. And then I just have a couple of these little cracker crisps. And I'm gonna sit them on top like that. How delicious does this look? I can't wait to eat it. Okay, so it's time to go in for the kill. I cannot wait. It's lunchtime at my house and I am starving. And this tortellini looks so good. Whoops. Mmm. You guys, this is really yummy. You're gonna love this one. It's such an easy recipe. I want you guys to make it at home, so let me know how it goes, and also let me know in the comments, is there anything else that you want me to cook? If there's something you're kind of intimidated by, let me know. We can do it together. It'll be awesome. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.